Hello, everyone. Pastor George here with Culture Thursdays, and I'm going to talk about our need for justice. Sometimes when justice goes poorly or unexpectedly, and how our attitude should be when we seek justice. This is actually kind of a recurring theme recently as we've been going through Exodus. But a recent story broke, and I thought it was important to bring it to everyone's attention. I don't know how much news it's going to get played on local channels or anything like that. I know it's been doing pretty big on Twitter, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be carried onto normal cable news networks or even or especially not on the free, main channel news network. So, what I wanted to talk about was a recent story that broke about Smith College up in Massachusetts. I'm going to post the article below. I think it's really worth a read. I think you should be able to read it without having to pay for a New York Times account. I was able to read it, but I still think it's good. So, the New York Times released an article about Smith College, which is a private four-year school up in Massachusetts. And it's a story about how some people there were accused of racist behavior by a student. It turns out that they didn't do these things that we're accused of, but they've kind of been labeled as these things now forever, right? And of course, this article is very timely. This isn't, the first time people have been falsely accused of anything in the United States. But I think it's important because it comes, within a year of kind of what happened last summer when there was kind of a reinvigorating of these things. And this story is not new. This happened back in 2018, but it's only now kind of coming to light because of litigation and some other things, and the New York Times beat reporter kind of working this thing. And one of the things that stuck out to me here is that already people were polarized on Twitter, right? We all have our own kind of pet causes in our lives, right? Things that we really care about. And so people kind of already divided into two camps on this issue in particular. Now, I think the thing that's important about this is that sometimes in our need for justice, we do not shoot accurately. A lot of times, this is why human justice can be so fickle. We do not shoot accurately. We shoot as though we're shooting with a shotgun, right? And when that happens is we can see this underlying issue or, what we see or thing that we believe anyway that's an issue, and we can shoot with a shotgun and we can end up hitting a lot of things that aren't that, right? We can end up actually causing a lot of damage because our justice isn't perfect, right? So just like I said in my sermon a while ago, that when we look at racism, we need to crush it because it's been crushed like Christ, right, as all other sins have been. So we need to find these things. So it's something that when we see it or find it, we should say things about it. We should make sure that it is ended, right? Very important. But the problem is that sometimes we can become overzealous, and when we become overzealous, we can end up becoming unjust in our own right? This is something that can happen with any cause, no matter how pure it is, right? How many Christians have suffered persecution and then gone on to persecute those who were unrelated to it, right? How many people have suffered an injustice and taken revenge around the wrong person or something like that, right? And there's a good article. This is kind of what the article gets to. And I just wanted to say that our culture puts a lot of emphasis on this. And of course, like, the school hasn't kind of fessed up to what it's done. It's ran cover. The original person who made the claims still holds on to them, right? And kind of the people who lose are the people who were accused and kind of never get their day in court. This is part of a big problem in American society in general when it comes to free speech libel laws and free speech slander and stuff like that, is you're kind of slandered and then you can never do anything ever again. And so it's a big issue. And as Christians, we don't just cheer things if they say they're fighting, for justice or something, if they misfire and end up hurting innocents, right? Because God is with those who are mistreated, right? Those who are left behind, those who are left out and cast aside by society. And so it's important that we recognize that in any situation, we can be the oppressors and we can be the oppressed. And the role of the Christian is to side with anyone who is being oppressed, right? That's kind of the goal of the situation. And to love everyone, regardless of what situation we're in, even if they hate us. So I think that the thing about Smith College that's really important, and the thing that we need to remember, is that it's just a constant warning that our justice is skewed, right? Our justice can be misused or mistreated and even end up hurting vulnerable people, maybe who we didn't intend to hurt, but hurt nonetheless, which is why we ultimately need to plant ourselves not in our ideals of justice or what we want to see happen, but what God wants to see happen. So I just wanted to talk about that because who knows if this story is going to get any airtime tonight. So I will link it in the description below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for our mailbag. Peace out.